Here I am at the Argent's Mead in a wonderful hometown of Hinckley. Today we are celebrating St George's Day. There's loads going on, but in between my tale telling, which I'll be doing at 10:45 and 12:30, I'll be also searching for some folklore found. So my story starts in the 1700s. It doesn't start here in Hinckley, it starts with the country in general, and it's a time when we have lots of Georges on the throne. You've got George I coming over from Germany, a time when Protestants and Catholics were fighting against each other. But that's not my story, it's not the politics there. It's a very small story, a story that happens here in Hinckley itself, all regarding George I, who is, at the start of my story, ailing. He's 67 years of age and he's trying desperately to cling on to his throne. A lot of people don't want him on the throne. He's German. So what happens? Well, war. We'll go for a walk and we'll find the next part of the story. George I was on the throne. He was panicking because he was losing grip of the nation and the national support, and so he sent his armies out to recruit people. Here in Hinckley was no different. They came to town and they set up shop in the marketplace just here. Now it's a bustling marketplace with events on, like St George's Day. Today you'll see lots of events on. There's Punch and Judy, I'm storytelling close by, loads of things on. Back then, a bustling marketplace. And the sergeant and the soldiers, they all set up shop and they started demonstrating what it was like to be in the army, how fantastic it was. Come and fight for us, come and do your bit for King George. But the people of Hinckley weren't on King George's side, and so they started to shout and jeer as they started to rebel. The sergeant got more worked up, cross, and so in the end he began to threaten people until Richard Smith, a young man, stepped up and said something that he might have regretted. So the day is the 12th of April 1727. Richard Smith had just stepped up and started to insult the sergeant. Why should we fight for King George? He's not even English, he's German, said Richard Smith. a lifelong citizen of the great Hinckley town. The sergeant said, well, you drink at a pub named after your king, but you're not loyal enough to fight for him. And then Richard Smith, well, he began to laugh. He said, what do you mean? The George down the road is the George because of St. George. St. George and the Dragon, not because of a king from Germany. Well, that was the final straw. The sergeant, he lost it. He grabbed a halberd, a giant battle axe with a spike on the end, and he ran poor Richard Smith through. He stuck him so hard that he stuck him to a tree and buried the point straight through the body and into the tree. He had to use his foot to prise it and push it out of the body. Knowing now that he'd lost the support of the town, the sergeant and his men, they quickly withdrew and they left. This is the tombstone for Richard Smith, who departed this life the 12th day of the year 1727. He was removed from the marketplace where he was so brutally murdered, and he was buried. But the town of Hinckley never forgot what the forces of King George did. And on his tombstone, this is an inscription, and it describes his death. But this is where history turns into folklore, my favourite bit. It is said that on the 12th of April every year, because of the wrongs committed against Richard Smith because he refused to fight, that this gravestone bleeds. Blood can be seen on the 12th of April trickling down this gravestone. Fact or folklore? I have to admit I've never been here on the 12th of April to check. I always forget that the 12th of April is the date and it passes me by. It's a real shame that I can't verify the truth of this. So maybe you'll have to come down here on the 12th of April. We're in St Mary's Churchyard, here at St Mary's Church in the heart of Hinckley. The gravestones around here are fascinating. There's so many to look at, so many to read, so many stories buried just beneath the ground. There is another story I know, another piece of folklore linked intrinsically with that church and with the castle and the moat behind it you'd have seen earlier in the video, but I fear that's a story to be found another day. And so there you have it, another bit of folklore found, this time in Hinckley. You can find the full version, my version of this story, in Leicestershire Folktales for Children, the links of which will be in the description below. Don't forget to like, subscribe and press that bell notification to get notified when I upload more, because I have plenty more folklore found videos planned. And on that note, I shall leave it there. I need to go and tell some more stories, tell the story of St George to the lovely people of Hinckley, and I shall see you soon.